So, this one's gonna be about the Black Swan, or Swan, whatever it actually is called, I don't actually know, by Nassim Nicholas Taleb. And it is actually the second book that we're going through. Well, actually the third one, I guess. I think, it must be the third one, I assume, because we also went through Anti-Fragile, but it's been I don't know, half a year ago or something. But still, it's probably gonna be the third book, and it's probably just a very controversial book. But more after that, after the intro. Something like that. I don't know, maybe I should be having a script or something, but it is actually something that I like. There's nothing more that I'm hating when I'm presenting something in school or wherever I am and I'm presenting something. There's nothing more that I hate than just having a script. I'm improvising quite a lot and I like that. I don't want to have a script, I do not want to read shit. I want to have everything in my mind and I want to just talk out of my mind, The problem there is, of course, in school, I'm having sometimes to talk about some things that I'm not really knowledgeable in nor educated in. And I have to just make a presentation, like some slides and whatnot. And then I'm just also having to acquire some certain amount of knowledge, I would say, and education or just skills as well sometimes. And that's quite fucked up sometimes, because if it is something that you really are not interested in, then it is fucked up. But I still would say that giving presentations is a pretty useful skill. Not only is it about just improvising and also being able to communicate and speak and all those things, it is just a pretty nice thing, at least at my point of view. And I'm also having to do this sometimes on a podcast as well. Sometimes I actually do have to improvise. So I don't know where I've stopped. Quite. But let's actually go through the book summary. So just actually coming back to it being a controversial book, I've been talking about it yesterday, and I've been talking about it yesterday in a not really good manner, I would say. I said that it isn't really a good book according to a book summary or a book summary site that I have been on quite often and quite for some time, some long periods of time as well. And I've also been consuming book summaries there, and they have been really amazing. Just really a lot of book summaries and also just really amazing summaries, at least in my point of view. But still, this site said that this is probably one of the worst books on self-help, self-development, self-improvement, whatever there is. But I don't know. I only went through, I didn't actually then have a look at the book itself, I guess. But the problem with book summaries and also book notes, as it is on here on this site, is that it is a very subjective view on the book. So I would actually have to say that, or I actually have to say that I should be reading the book, and after that I could actually say something about it, But we're gonna go through the notes. Maybe the notes also say something about the book, whether the book is good, whether the book is bad, whether the book is something. I don't know. But actually we're gonna see, and I'm really interested in what it is gonna be like, if it actually is a bad book or if it is a good book. So yeah, let's hop into the summary. It's already there, which is nice. The Black Swan by Nassim Nicholas Taleb. It is 9 out of 10 rated, which is actually really high, to be honest, And therefore, it is something interesting. On the other book summary site, they said, it is a pretty shitty book. And on this site, it is a pretty good book, Yeah, very subjective views on the book. Complete game changer in thinking about sudden, unexpected events. Not only does it help you be less foolish in interpreting the world around you, it provides a model that anyone, so not just entrepreneurs, can use for maximizing the potential for sudden success in life while decreasing the risk of sudden ruin. Yeah, something that I'm actually really focusing on at this point in time is how much risk that I'm taking, And I have a feeling that I'm not taking a lot of risks, For example, yesterday I came home at I think it's been 10, 9:30 p.m. or something. Because I had to take the train, I've had some, I don't know what it's called, practice, some sort of dancing practice for my prom night, because we are gonna dance there and we are just having some kind of choreography. If it is called like that, I actually don't know. But I came home fairly late and I had 2 trains that I can take. One was actually quite safe, but in the end I've been I think it's been 8 minutes late in my hometown, because it took me an hour and 4 minutes or something. And the other one would have been 7 or 8 minutes, obviously faster. But I thought the other train, a little bit faster train is quite often delayed. And I think it has also been the case yesterday, but I'm not quite sure, I really am not quite sure about that. But it's only 8 minutes. And I didn't really know if I'm just getting a seat in the other train, so in the faster train, and the slower train departed way, way, way earlier. Like it's been 17 minutes, which really is something, because in these 17 minutes, I've been able to quite do a lot of shit. And I was sure that I'm getting a seat in this earlier train. So I don't know, like I've then been thinking about the fact that I maybe didn't take the risk for being slightly better off, I guess, or just slightly better in the end. But I don't know, like it really is just one of these decisions where I actually have to focus on not being quite subjective or to just be rational, so that I actually have the facts. I'm having the facts. So in the end, I actually have a funny feeling that my decision to just take the slower one, but just be safe and whatnot, is kind of the better one, just because 8 minutes is quite, well, it is something, it actually is something. But in the end, I don't know if the train was delayed. I maybe should be looking that up. But yeah, I'm sorry. Summary notes. A black swan has 3 characteristics. The first one is, it is an outlier beyond the normal range of expectations because nothing in the past could point to it being likely to happen. So indeed, it's an event that is really just like chances are not going to be very high, or at least you don't expect it, or you don't expect them to be very high. Or it is like just a once in a lifetime moment. Could also be the case. The second thing is, it has a massive impact, whether it be negative or positive, I guess. And the third one is, despite number 1, we create explanations for it after the fact, making it seem explainable and predictable, even though it is not, but it actually, like, it is one of the things that just human beings like to do, I guess. We like to kind of explain everything, which we also have been able to do, like gravity, explaining through certain combinations of letters and numbers, and it is a formula, and therefore you can also calculate gravity and all those things. Like, it's amazing. Business, I think it is structured, business, knowledge, the triplet of opacity, so there's certain categories, and it is a fairly long one, so I think we're not going to be able to finish up with it today, especially not just because I'm talking so much today. Very sorry about that. Business. The payoff of a human venture is, in general, inversely proportional to what it is expected to be. Please what? The payoff of a human venture. What is a venture? Enterprise, undertaking, project. Okay. Is, in general, inversely proportional to what it is expected to be. Okay, I see. I don't know. I'm not quite sure. To make a killing in some industry, you need to do something beyond the current conceived reel of possibilities. So be a chef or chief, I don't know. I'm actually having to think about the Cybertruck. It is something I think it is like something like that is going to be the future. I do have a funny feeling that cars in the future are going to look like that. And it actually is something that it's not really beyond our possibilities, but it's indeed beyond our expectations. We didn't expect something like that. I might have just expected something like a normal Ford truck, whatever, pickup truck, whatever it actually is, I don't know. And but nobody expected something like that. Something like this, something that crazy, something that's really indeed unique, I'd say. But I think in the end, it's actually been a really great decision that they made, at least at my point of view. But we're going to see how it's just going to turn out, if they're going to make a lot of sales, if this is actually then going to be kind of the core of the whole industry. If every automobile industry or automobile maker is then going to make something similar to this car. We're going to see, and I'm going to be really thrilled to know, actually, or I'm thrilled to see, actually. Indeed, in some domains, such as scientific discovery and venture capital investments, there is a disproportionate payoff from the unknown, since you typically have little to lose and plenty to gain from a rare event. Also in betting, but I wouldn't just suggest you to bet. It's not a good thing. And also not buying just some lottery tickets. I'm seeing it quite often. Like, the chance is there, of course, but I would also argue that if you're just winning $1 million, that most often people are just gonna lose it. Just because they're not able to just deal with that amount of money. They're not able to just use that amount of money in an appropriate way. In terms of just saving a portion of it. Being able to just save a portion of it and then gonna be able to sustain yourself with that portion by maybe investing it into real estate and then living off of that rent and whatnot. Like all these concepts and all these thoughts, it's not such a good thing. And or like a lot of people are not thinking about that, especially those people that have won a lot of money in the lottery or through the lottery, by the lottery, whatever. The strategy for the discoverers and entrepreneurs is to rely less on top-down planning and focus on maximum tinkering and recognizing opportunities when they present themselves. So I disagree with the followers of Marx and those of Adam Smith. The reason free markets work is because they allow people to be lucky thanks to aggressive trial and error, not by giving rewards or incentives for skill. The strategy is then to tinker as much as possible and try to collect as many black swan opportunities as you can. I'm not quite sure, but we're gonna move on, I guess. So in general, positive black swans take time to show their effect, while negative ones happen very quickly. It is much easier and much faster to destroy than to build. Recall the distinction between mediocristan and extremistan in chapter 3. I said that taking a scalable profession is not a good idea simply because there are far too few winners in these professions. Well, these professions produce a large symmetry. The pool of starving actors is larger than the one of starving accountants, even if you assume that on average they earn the same income. On average they earn the same income. Do they? Do they actually? Well, maybe in average. Of course, in average, they are probably gonna earn the same. I can think of that, actually. Because, there is some actors that are just earning quite a fucking lot. And then there is some actors that are just living in poverty, quite, unfortunately. But I think in terms of accountants, it seems to be the case that they're all doing quite well. This same point can be generalized to life. Maximize the serendipity around you. And serendipity is a word that I'm hearing quite often because of Gary Vaynerchuk. Chance, happy chance, accident, happy accident, luck. To maximize the serendipity around you. So this same point can be generalized to life. Maximize the serendipity around you. I can understand it. I can understand it that it makes sense to collect all those black swans and to just really increase the opportunity of you just having a lucky hit, basically. The problem, what I'm seeing there is, at least as just I'm receiving these informations through this summary, is that, of course it makes sense, and of course I can also understand that some people are going to do that, but the thing is, you cannot really be sure if it is going to pay off in the end. There's, at least in my point of view, there's high risk and high reward. It is not really low risk and just high reward. It's really indeed high risk and high reward because you don't know if it is going to pop. You don't know if it is going to be something good, if it's going to be something bad, if it's I don't know if it's going to turn out amazing in the future. You rarely know that. So it is high risk. You're risking losing a lot of time, potentially also a lot of money. So I would actually argue that, well, even though it's hard to say, but doing something that's probably going to take a lot of time, but not a lot of money, and is quite risky, I would say, makes sense to me. Because I'm basically also doing it, I don't know if the podcast is gonna be just good in the end. If the podcast is gonna pop in a year, in 2 years, in 10 years, I don't know. It is high risk. But the reward is also gonna be really fucking high. Incredibly high. It's also the exact same thing with all the things that I'm doing. Whether it be about platforms, I don't know if TikTok is gonna be good. I don't know if TikTok is going to be mature in the future. If it's going to be just one place where a lot of people are or still are. I don't know that. It is high risk, but it's also high reward because if it actually is the case, then I've been one of the earlier people on this platform, which is always really amazing if you are an early person on this platform. I'm just only seeing high risk and high reward, which is nothing bad in the end, But I would say I just wanted to say that it makes sense to have high risk and high reward by doing something where you're not going to lose a lot of things. The problem there is, then it's not really high risk any longer. The thing is, I would have then, in the future, if nothing works out as I wanted to work out, then I would have just actually lost a lot of time, basically. And maybe even some potential experiences, but, that's quite bullshit, to just be like, well, I might have just done something else that's great, but I just did the podcast. I don't know in the end. I don't know what I would have done, basically. But, it also makes sense to just create a framework for yourself to ensure that you're not going to lose quite everything. What I'm willing to say is that if the podcast is not going to be good in the end, I've been able to acquire really, really, really important skills. Talking in English, just talking in a well way, talking in an interesting way, designing way more than I just would have designed in my whole entire fucking life, probably, and all sorts of different things. Like, I've been able to just gain so much knowledge through this framework that I created for myself. And you should be doing the exact same thing if it is about some high risk and high reward shit, or if it is about some low risk and low reward shit. There should always be like something that you can get out of it. At least it just makes sense, doing something where you can gain some skills, which in the end might lead to something or not, So in the end, what you're just for sure having is some new skills or new experiences and all those things. And of course, it also depends on how you think about certain things. Because, I can be like, well, I've wasted a lot of time and I fucked a lot of time and I'm really fucking unhappy about that. But I could also be like, well, I've learned quite something. Do you hear that? I'm very sorry for that. It is like what it is in Austria when it is 12 fucking o'clock. Then the sirens, if it is called like that, which I'm not quite sure about, once again, it is what it is. Let's actually move on. I like it. Even though I don't necessarily agree with it. Knowledge. We do not spontaneously learn that we don't learn that we don't learn. We do not spontaneously learn that we don't learn that we don't learn. The problem lies in the structure of our minds. We don't learn rules, just facts and only facts. Meta rules, such as the rule that we have a tendency to not learn rules, we don't seem to be good at getting. We scorn the abstract, we scorn it with passion. What you know cannot really hurt you. It can hurt you. If you know some shit and it is like mental pain, it is mental fucking pain and it is hurting you. Not quite sure about it. Maybe it is a metaphor. Could be the case, but I'm not quite sure. To slowly distill my single idea, I wanted to become a flaneur, a professional meditator, sit in cafes, lounge and unglued to desks and organization structures, sleep as long as I need it, read voraciously, and not owe any explanation to anybody. Good. Do that. If you're actually willing to do something like that, then just please do it. Find a way to let this one work. But more modern reality rarely gives us the privilege of a satisfying linear positive progression. Yeah, definitely. You may think about a problem for a year and learn nothing. Then, unless you are disheartened by the emptiness of the result and give up, something will come to you in a flash. Probably. And this one's gonna probably be the last one. Have you ever wondered why so many of these straight A students end up going nowhere in life, while some who lagged behind is now getting the shekels, buying the diamonds and getting his phone calls returned? Or even getting the Nobel Prize in a real discipline, say medicine? Some of this may have something to do with luck in outcomes, but there is the sterile and obscurantist quality that is often associated with classroom knowledge that may get in the way of understanding what's going on in real life. I see that the author does not really like students or just straight A students, nor do I think this author has also been just a straight A student, because it's also been the case in the other book that we're going through, which is also going to be published today, I guess, indeed. He also said that, he also said that straight A students are not going to be pretty successful, even though I think you cannot generalize that. I think that you cannot say that straight A students are not going to be getting to anywhere, and you also cannot say that those students that always have been shit get to something. It totally relies on the person, totally comes up to the person, to the character, to the thoughts, to the perspectives, to the things that this person is talking about, this person is willing to do, and whatever. like it indeed comes up to the person and not to whatever the person did, I would say. But yeah, I think this one's gonna be the end of the episode. Yeah, I wish you the best health and fitness and also success, and I also hope that you're gonna remind yourself and you're gonna be remembered, which basically means your legacy, which basically means just being a nice person and then also gonna be remembered as a nice person, which is something that's pretty great. But yeah, 3 other questions that I'm having for you is, why are you here? What are you trying to change? And what is bothering you the most? These 3 are hopefully going to show you your purpose and maybe even a business idea, since a lot of companies started out with solving something that really pissed them off in the first place. But yeah, I'm going to see you, I just hope, really, really quickly. Yeah. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and also to the YouTube channel. And yeah, I'm going to see you.